Another training camp practice is in the books, day 6 to be exact, here in Ashburn as the Washington Commanders continue their summer of really good football. They're working hard, they're getting after it. You see in series, spurts of the offense dominating, then the defense dominates. So I would say one unit hasn't had the better of the other consistently. That's a sign of a good football team. You see guys like Mikey Sanders, second year cornerback out of the University of Michigan, continue to ascend, and he's making plays and he's making life hard for the Debo Samuels of the world, for Jalen Lanes of the world.
I think you kind of just find yourself, at least for me, I've found myself in a spot that is like, okay, here's what I did last year. During the off season, I was watching film on, just doing a self-study tape. And my off season focus was how much better can I get at the things that I'm already good at? Because I feel like often we lose sight of focusing on the things that we are good at because we want to put so much emphasis on the things we aren't good at. But you still have to sharpen both sides of the sword. So I wanted to make sure I kept making sure I'm good at the things that, like, I keep working at the things I'm good at, but still work on those things that needs to improve. And that's finding what that looks like on film. Asking my coaches, what do you guys think I need to improve? Where can I make jumps? And then just emphasizing my film study because I want to be able to go out there and just have everything just be second nature to me. You know what I mean? So like it gets to a point where everything you do during the week should just be, the tools you're sharpening. So that way when you come to Sunday, come to game time, you're not worried about anything anymore. You're just playing free. You know what what the calls are. You're not second guessing anything. You believe what you're seeing on film. Then you're just going out there playing with the talent you have, using the tools the coaches have given you for the week.
And
And then just
speaking of Jalen Lane, he's another young guy that's having a really, really good camp. He's making plays every day. He's showing his speed. He's showing some elusiveness. He's a physical player as well. And I'm starting to look at him and think that he's a baby Debo Samuel. He's a guy that you can move around all over the field. And I think Cliff Kingsbury in this offense will be doing that with Jalen Lane. Some of the younger guys on offense as well that are having some times, having times where they make plays. You look at Chris Moore, wide receiver. He had a drop on a deep ball, but then he also had a really outstanding one-hand catch on the sidelines to show, that he can keep his feet in bounds and still have his eye-hand coordination working. So some of these younger guys are starting to really, start to ascend a little bit. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Demetric Felton, young running backs that have speed in the backfield, are continuously making plays and getting some wow, factor from the fans in attendance. On the defensive side of the ball, we talked about Mikey Sanders still, but a guy that I've been keeping my eye on quite a bit is Marshawn Lattimore. We know Marshawn Lattimore last year came in, from New Orleans and via a trade, and had a hamstring injury. He worked in rehab to get back out on the field, but you can tell he wasn't the same. He wasn't the same player that went to 4 Pro Bowls while in New Orleans. Well, I can safely tell you he looks good right now. He's lost a lot of weight, maybe 10 pounds. He's moving around really well, no signs of favoring any kind of leg injury, and he's working hard. So I think that he's going to have a bounce back year for this Commanders football team. So there's so many storylines that we can go over. The big storyline, Terry McLaurin, he did come out today. He was talking with some fans, but he still, is not at least on the sidelines with his teammates. But I was told by several players that he's still great in the locker room with these guys. Nothing has changed as far as how they feel about him in the locker room. So we'll see if this thing gets taken care of over the next week or so. I do suspect something will be done in a week's time, and Terry McLaurin will be out on this football field with his teammates where he belongs. So we'll be back on Thursday. Tomorrow we have the day off. So when we come back on Thursday, we'll have more here in Ashburn. So here in Ashburn at Commanders Park, I'm Lake Lewis.